Back in the day when the radio played, the CDs spun our nights away. From grunge to grooves and R&B, 95 was the place to be. We're digging deep, 1 week at a time. Every album, every rhyme. It's more than music, it's a vibe. Come with us, let's take that ride. 52/1995. We're bringing that year back alive. From basement tapes to billboard highs, rewind the sound, relive the drive. Oh, 52/1995. Drop the needle, feel that jive. 1 year, 1 track at a time. Dive, yeah, let's dive. Spinning loud, feel the flash. Britpop dreams and alt rock crash. Hip hop truth, electronic night. Every beat still burns so bright. 52/1995. It's not just songs, it's a time capsule dive. Talking tunes to shake our lives. Tune and turn up and ride that high, yeah. 52/1995. Weekly drops, we keep it live. Let's rewind the vibe. One album every time. Back in the day when the radio played, the CDs put on.
I get so distracted. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I was like, it says my mic is muted. I'm like, there's no, we're not going into this with the mic muted. That's okay. Okay, everybody, welcome in to 52/1995, your live music conversation podcast to dive deep into the music of 1995. Each week, 52 weeks in a year, right? That is when we are going to break down an album from the year 1995. Again, we're going to explore the different releases, dive into them, discuss them in detail. This is the first expansion into the 52 universe from our sister podcast, 52/1995 Movies. I'm your host, Alyssa. I'm here with my co-host, Cody. Cody, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Everybody. Thank you. And so, like I said, that's what we do. Every week for 52 weeks in the year, we explore a different album from the year 1995 for its 30th anniversary. Each month, we explore a new music theme or genre. This month's theme is debut albums. So who were the big debuts in 1995? And today's album is Garbage by Garbage, which if anyone was around on the internet 10 years ago, it very much reminded me of Kittens, inspired by Kittens. But with garbage, inspired by garbage.
Garbage.
Cody, do you have any experience with the band Garbage, or have you heard of them before? Have you heard this album before?
Just real life garbage. That's really all my experience is real garbage. No, a little bit. Like I don't. This was, I always say it, but like usually my 90s music knowledge comes from my oldest sister, and she wasn't really into Garbage. But I do know a couple songs by them, one off of this album, actually two off of this album. I was surprised to learn that one of these songs was on a video game that I played, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that song." Um, so that's pretty much it. And then a song off of their later albums. I used to get this band confused with another band that Saliva, which is kind of an equally gross name,
Yes.
band name, but that's a completely different singer. And I'm also, one of my friends is Garbage, so
Yeah, the friend in the chat is Garbage, I guess.
exactly. Sir Garbage out there.
Sir Garbage. That's funny.
No, but that's really, really it. What about you?
That's fair. No, I know nothing about garbage other than I eat it. I eat like garbage. No, I and sleep like garbage. You can make a lot of puns here and a lot of jokes.
Mhm.
But no, I did not know Garbage. I have not heard of Garbage. I did actually, as like listening to the album, one of the songs, I was like, oh, I think I know this one. But that's like it. None of the other songs that in their entire discography. I've just never listened to them. I don't know them. I don't know either. Like I said, I know we got into a genre conversation last week, but this genre isn't maybe necessarily something I would like lean towards either. It's definitely not grunge. It's more rock, like a pop rock, but it kind of I don't know. I don't know how to label this. Either way, it's probably not something that I would like gravitate towards on my own.
Yeah, it feels grunge at times. It
Hmm.
feels like a
Yeah.
generic alternative at times,
Hmm.
and then it feels like a little bit electronic or
Hmm.
I don't know. Like this one is kind of a tough one to pin down.
Yeah, it's so strange because like the sound is so eclectic, and yet as I was listening to this album, I could not help but think this sounds quintessential 90s.
Hmm.
Like I can for some reason I was just thinking like a high school movie, like the opening credits of like a teen movie, a high school movie. This song, like this is like the opening credits scene or song. I don't know
Hmm.
why. And like we talk about like some albums being cinematic, in that way. I don't find this album cinematic, but I like it put me very specifically into like a late 90s, early 2000s teen movie. And that's the vibe it gave me.
I felt a little like I felt there were times of cinematic stuff
Okay.
to this album. Just because we always go that direction of me saying like cinematic, but the only cinema it related me to was like a Matrix movie. Was the
Okay.
movie at times, so
I don't know. It's interesting. I kind of like that we have like two different vibes with it. Like this took me to this kind of place and this took me this place and this is the genre I feel it is. So it's a little bit of an interpretation perhaps.
yeah. I reading back over my notes and things, I'm like, I don't even know how confident I am in what I said at all. So
That's
that's fun.
okay. Do you feel like you liked the album? What are your first impressions?
It's not an album that I'm gonna throw on
Yeah.
and like sing with or anything like that. Although there is one song that I'm like, yeah, that's a cool thing to sing along to. But for the most part, I really did. I liked it, and I think I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it after going
Hmm.
through it. But it's not for me. I'm not like, oh, I got to get this on like a record or anything like that. Maybe like I did with Pulp, which was a surprise. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it. It's just not something that I would typically want to listen to again. It's so weird. That's
Yeah.
so weird. It's like I can acknowledge it for being good, but I don't never need ever need to hear it again, I think.
Yeah, and it's we were talking earlier, or I was talking, going on a rant earlier about art, and how art is so subjective. And if we think about music like a piece of art, right, like a physical like canvas, there are some art pieces that belong in a museum that are really provocative and really cool and like definitely belong in a museum, but I don't want that museum piece on my wall in my house. I want something more my speed or my style, or maybe a little more commercial or digestible. It's not meant, and what's meant to be in a museum is not really meant to be in a house, and what's meant to be in a house is not meant to be in a museum, like art piece wise. And I think
Hmm.
the same can be said about music. Like we can listen to a piece and listen to a song or an album and go, yeah, I get it, I understand it, I dig it, but I don't need that on my shelf.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm giving with or getting with this album is that I appreciate it. I actually really enjoyed listening to it, but it's
Hmm.
not anything that I need for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I actually liked it more on the second listen.
Hmm.
The first run through, it was good. The second run through, I was like, oh yeah, I kind of like it. Yeah, I have positive feelings towards it. I kind of agree with you that I'm not running to buy the vinyl for my record player, but
Yeah.
I do like it.
Yeah, so that's my first impression.
All right. Well, do you want to know some fun facts about garbage? You want to hear some garbage facts?
I want to hear garbage facts.
All right, so today's album is Garbage by Garbage. It's just so funny to say. It is 12 songs long and 51 minutes. So these songs are long. For 12 songs, 51 minutes, I will say up top, I thought some of these songs were far too long. Like they just kind of went on for a while. We talk about this a lot with movies, that movies benefit from editing. Not every movie needs to be 2 hours long. We could shave off 20 or 30 minutes here and there. I think there's a sweet spot with music. Like 2 minutes is too short. If you're going to give me 4 or 5 minutes in a song, it needs to be worth my while. So
Hmm.
somewhere in the middle of that is the happy space. And so like, you can give me a 5 minute song, but don't repeat the same verse over and over and over and over again. And I
Right.
kind of had that in some of these situations. But so 12 songs, 51 minutes long. So the band Garbage is actually from Madison, Wisconsin, which I think is kind of wild. I'm not familiar with Wisconsin. It's not, it's not LA or New York. And two guys built the band initially. The first guy's name is Butch Vig. Great
Because
name.
why not? Because why not? That sounds like a
And,
Wisconsin ass name if I've ever heard one.
and Steve Marker, which is totally normal. But Butch Vig is like the not the front runner, but he's the guy who rounded everybody up. So they're producers, and they built a music studio, a producing studio in Madison, Wisconsin. They've worked with U2, Nine Inch Nails, Nirvana. Vic produced the Nevermind album by
Oh.
Nirvana. So like actually some street cred, right? Like, and
Hmm.
in the grunge space too. So like the genre kind of makes sense. And and then they had a they added their third guy. I think his name was Duke or Dale or something like that. I'm sorry, but I know there's a third guy there too. But they got three guys in the band. They think they also worked with him. And there was an early comment about their work, their producing ability, and someone said it sounded like garbage. So that is where the band name came from, which is very funny. But of course, we have not mentioned that there's a female lead singer. So her name is Shirley Manson. Shirley Manson is Scottish and was in a band like in the UK. It wasn't really working out. She was the lead singer. Like it's cool, but like the band itself wasn't it wasn't popular. Like they put out an album, it flopped. But Vig had seen her perform in a video, saw her on TV or something, and he goes, "I want her to be the lead singer of our band." Because he was going for a vibe. He specifically was like, I've worked with all male groups in the music space. We need feminine energy. We need a female lead singer. I'm tired of working with all male groups. And he was like, she's the one I want because she has like a deeper voice. It's not like, it's just a little different than what we hear on the
Hmm.
radio at the time. Like not very, like it's an alto, not a soprano, right?
Right.
So he's like, I want her. So they went like his people or his, whatever, went over to the UK. They met with her and they're like, "Hey, Shirley, nice to meet you. Butch Vig wants you to be the lead singer in his band." She goes, "I don't know who that is." And they're like, "Have you heard of the Nevermind album?" And she's like, "I'm in." And she flies to the United States, flies to Madison, Wisconsin, does an audition, flops the audition. She
Oh.
just said it went horribly. But she like had built some rapport with the guys. Like they had good conversation, they're having fun, they're talking. And so they were like, "You know what? We'll give you a second shot. Let's have a second audition." And she sings what becomes their song Queer, but is on this album. And they're like, "Done. It's done." So that is how the band came together. I thought that was a really fun story.
Yeah. It's when I've heard of Shirley Manson before. I always thought that was like a pseudonym, like that wasn't really her name or like a stage name, but no, that's her name,
That's her name.
Shirley
That's
Manson.
her name.
I assumed it was kind of like Marilyn Manson, which
I
is
had the same thought.
which is a combination of Charles Manson and Marilyn Monroe, and I was like, oh, this could be like Shirley Temple and Charles Manson, and she's just like edgy and goth, and
Yeah.
that was
Surely you
what I
can't be serious.
thought. Don't call me Shirley.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Yes. And the band itself, so that's their kind of how they came to be. Their album, of course, their debut album releases in 1995, and they really got their popularity the following year because they were opening for Smashing Pumpkins on their 1996 tour. So that's kind of how they came to be, specifically in the United States. They're a little bigger in the UK. I think it helps because of Shirley, who was already kind of established over there. But they did pretty well in the United States as well. In terms of this particular album, their debut, Garbage by Garbage, it did reach number 20 in the US Billboard Top 200 and number 6 in the UK album charts. They had 5 singles from this album. So Vow, Only Happy When It Rains, Queer, Stupid Girl, and Milk. Sold over 40 million copies and achieved double platinum certification in the UK, the US, and Australia.
Wow.
And did have high critical acclaim. I had there weren't a lot of negative reviews. The lowest review I found was a 7 out of 10. Most of them were either 8 out of 10s or 4 out of 5s or 5 out of 5s in like the Guardian and the magazines and everything. There was Gil Kaufman wrote a review of it, and I really thought it was cool because he akined it to a Jackson Pollock painting, the album. Thick layers upon layers of sound that have been stripped down, torn down, pasted together, and then stripped again until the result is a dizzying soundscape that reveals fresh nuances upon repeated listening. So I was like, "Ooh, I know what a Jackson Pollock looks like." And I kind of resonated with that because, again, I gave it a second listen to, and I was like, I like this better the second time around.
Yeah.
It like kind of upped my opinion of it.
They do some really cool. Really cool things, not just like with. Obviously, there's like an electronic element to that, and then there's one song, I can't remember what song it is, where it's like a tape deck that is like has this like sound like it's just running, like you could hear the tape like rolling, and they just reversed it, and then that is the sound that you hear in the background, and once you like focus in on it, it's kind of like you can't hear anything else.
Yeah.
I can't remember which song it is, but that is that is part of it.
I don't think I wrote it down either, but it's unique, and like you can tell, like, and I guess someone gave like a negative review, or not really a negative review, but they were like, "Yeah, this is 3 producers and a girl," it's like, which is like, yeah, it's like it's kind of cool that your guitar player and drummer are also your producers, like kind of like Bleachers, right? Jack Antonoff is the lead singer, and he's also the producer of the band Bleachers.
Right.
And he also produces a hell of a lot of other albums. But I 3 producers and a girl I thought was very funny. It's like New Girl, but garbage.
But garbage.
Garbage. There is a little bit of a legacy with this album. So The Guardian named it the 71st greatest album of all time in 1997. And it is on the list of 1001 albums to listen to before you die. The single Stupid Girl was nominated for 2 Grammys in 1997, did not win, but nominated for Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group.
We have a disagree. What are we disagreeing
I
about?
say, chat, what do we disagree with? As we patiently wait. But I think it's interesting. Again, like I was like, oh, it was nominated for Grammys. Like, okay, like I wasn't anticipating that. Again, I always listen to the album before I do any research. And when I heard that it was especially the song "Stupid Girl" being Grammy nominated, I was like, why?
Yeah.
Not that it's a bad, but disagree that this is an album you need to listen to before you die. Okay, so we got one fan in the chat and one non-fan in the chat. I like this. I want to hear these opinions. This is good. Fight. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Again, do you think it's Grammy nomination worthy?
I'd like to know what the other Grammy nominated bands were at that time.
You're
for
right.
that.
Best rock song grant 1997.
It's probably is
I
it
hate how it
97?
works.
Yeah, the Grammys are so stupid with how they do their timing.
One Headlight by
Oh,
Jacob
by,
Dylan.
by the Wallflowers. Yeah, Jacob Dylan.
Oh, do you know that song?
Mhm.
Oh, it looks like Teenage Dirtbag might have been nominated.
In 97?
Nope, just kidding. Okay, so Dave Matthews Band, Too Much was nominated. John Hyatt, Cry Love. Noel Gallagher, Wonderwall, who did not win. And Jacob Dylan. And it's Tracy Chapman, Give Me One Reason, won that year for best rock song. Okay.
We got it. We figured it out.
It makes sense. I understand. Yeah, the year before it was Alanis Morissette, You Ought to Know. 97 was Tracy Chapman, Give Me a Reason. 98 was Jacob Dylan, One Headlight with the Wallflowers. And Alanis was again in 1999.
John Hyatt, Cry Love. I don't know that song. And
Me
I also
neither.
don't know the Wallflower song Sixth Avenue Heartache. But it's bizarre that One Headlight gets nominated the year. I don't understand the Grammys, but I think Give Me One Reason is a good song and probably deserves a win there for 97. Although Wonderwall on that list too is pretty hard.
Yeah, so you love Oasis.
I know that's a tough one. But Stupid Girl's not even my favorite song on there.
No,
on this
definitely
album
not.
at all.
It's okay.
I like that song though. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it, or you want to get into?
No, you got any more? I don't want to dive into anything.
Oh no, that is all actually my fun facts and my background information. I'm ready to dive into the songs. If you want to just start with Stupid Girl.
Yeah, we could start with Stupid Girl.
Well, what songs before we get into Stupid Girl? What do you have on your list? Which one stuck out to you?
So I wrote I like the first three: Super Vixen, Queer, and Only Happy When It Rains.
Yeah.
Not My Idea.
Yeah.
Vow. And I did highlight Stupid Girl. I also had highlighted As Heaven Is Wide because it's like the most electronic on the album, and I didn't really dig it, but man, I love the lyrics of this song.
I didn't dig it. You know what? I didn't like dive deep into the lyrics of As Heaven Is Wide. I kind of skipped over that one, but but we can talk about it.
Yeah, but it's like my least favorite song, but with the best lyrics. I feel I just didn't like the electronic vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's you get these three rock songs off the top of the album, and then it goes into this As Heaven Is Wide song, and didn't really love that.
It is a shift. And I agree with you. I like the first three songs on this album. So Super Vixen, Queer, Only Happy When It Rains. I like all of those, and they're good to talk about too.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Stupid Girl. I know we usually go in order of the album, but I think it's worth talking about. Because I don't necessarily know if it's like Grammy worthy. I probably wouldn't. I mean, again, looking at other songs from that year, I think Oasis is Wonderwall's probably better. I'm also a Tracy Chapman fan, but I'm like, this song's fine.
I don't know. I like that it is. I assume it probably got nominated for being very girl powery.
You think this is a girl power song?
I do.
Okay. I kind of, I mean, I guess it is in a way. I kind of saw it as like, well, the song's about squandering potential,
Yeah.
is about pretending something that you're not, acting stupid to get attention, and it's against that. So in that regard, I'm like, yes, but there's that whole like aspect of, and then there's part of the reason that the song. You're right. I'm walking back on my confusion here.
No, I'm
This,
just saying, like, it's talking about that potential, and she even like goes on to say, like, we could have called it "stupid guy," and it's not necessarily about that, but it is
Mhm.
about a woman talking about somebody who is wasting their potential and wasting their and I feel like as a woman, and I'm not one, but like as a woman being like, hey, you could do this, you could be this, you could do
Yes,
this, but you're just being a stupid girl.
yes.
And it coming from another woman, I think
Mhm.
makes it that way. It would be, I don't think you can't, it's a different meaning if a man is singing this song. Like,
Oh, 100%. And that's like something that is in done in interviews with this band. Like they're like, oh, like a lot of these songs like were just kind of like written off the cuff. And Shirley was the main writer. She would just show up to a session, the guys would start playing, she would start singing. That's how a song got written.
mhm.
And they had tried to write some songs from the perspective of a woman, but they were like, yeah, it was kind of like pretentious, didn't work out. And then Shirley comes in and says, no, here's what the perspective really is, and fixed all of it. And so that there's that element too. I think the thing I had with it is that do you remember the Pink song called Stupid Girl?
No.
So Pink, the singer, had a song called Stupid Girl in the maybe early late aughts, early 2010s. And it was a pick me song.
Mm.
And it was like, I don't want to be a stupid girl. I'm not going to act like that, like, you know, push up my bra or flip my hair. And it's like, well, it's okay if you want it. That's like the other kind of side of feminism is like, hey, if you want to be stupid, that's your choice. That's what
Yeah.
like, you have the choice to be stupid. Is that like what you should do? Maybe or maybe not. Who am I to say? But it's like it was a very pick me song, and it's one of my pairings because they are so similar in content that I kind of like got clouded by the Pink song maybe
Mhm.
and I missed the message of what it actually is.
And I also think that the song is interesting too. Apparently, it was built around like a drum and bass sample from a Clash song,
Okay.
and then they just added their own. Like they added some guitar in the lyrics and everything. So it does have that nice like bass boom 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 boom
Mhm.
boom boom in there. So
That's
I like
interesting
that.
because I did say it almost sounded 80s, which again,
Mhm.
this is like, and that maybe because it's that bass beat that I thought so.
Yeah, and I think their songs like this, or even some of their like slowed down songs, are the ones that I gravitate to the most.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't really like the like. I know Super Vixen is like pretty driving rock, but I
Mhm.
think some of the other ones I was drawn to more, I guess.
Mhm. I did like Super Vixen. I liked the chorus more than I liked the verses. Like the
Hmm.
verses were kind of slower and the chorus kind of picked up a little bit. There is that like sudden stop in the music. Like
I
it just
like
like
that.
as it's jarring. It's like
it we were listening to it together in the car, and it like threw me off the first thing. Like you said, it's jarring like to hear that, but then I like as I'm listening to it, I love that they go on this riff, and then all of a sudden it's completely everything is cut out. I love that.
yeah, it was a fun music choice. And again, it's definitely for the opening song on the album.
Hmm.
And it's fun, it's interesting. Again, a little more rock heavy. I really like that one. Um,
it
yeah, that's a
feels it feels like very femdom to me,
okay.
the song Super Vixen.
Okay.
The whole like you worship me and I'll give you something, and like I'll give you a little bit, but you have to worship me and you have to treat me in this specific way, and I'll give you a little. I'll give you
Hmm.
something, but you got to do this. Like it feels very femdom to me.
I
And
like it.
I feel like a lot of songs on this album are very either like
Oh yeah,
overt sexually or
sexual
uh,
undertones.
feel sexual. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of the rock and roll of it all. Like it
And
is.
I was gonna say I almost missed the message on one of the songs because I was like, oh, this is kind of sexy. And then it's not sexy at all. It's not a sexy song at all. It's actually the opposite of it. So
The opposite of a sexy song.
yeah, it was interesting when I started reading the lyrics and everything. I was like, oh.
It's very fun. Yeah, these lyrics, there's a like you can't you don't necessarily like not that she's not an understandable, she doesn't enunciate well, but like you're kind of overtaken by the sound and the guitars and the electronic and like the sound of it all and the musicality and the instruments that the lyrics become a second thought. And then it's
Mhm.
like I didn't actually like hear any of the lyrics when I was listening. I had to go back and look, and I was like, "That's what that says." Like,
Yeah.
so it was kind of a theme throughout the entire album. It didn't you couldn't just like put it on and like hear the lyrics in a way. And I don't mean like that you couldn't physically hear them. I just mean it wasn't the forefront of what you were listening to.
Yeah, I really like, I think it's the chorus, that chorus where it's like making a whole new religion, a falling star that you cannot live without. I like the uh again, it's like, hey, I am your new religion. Like I'm fucking awesome and you better be obsessed with me. And I was like,
Your
hell
new hype
yeah.
song.
Yeah, like seriously, like like they're so like it's like women empowerment, but it's like women empowerment in a different way. I feel like we had another album that felt like this. Maybe it was like Joan Osborne,
I was gonna say, was
who
it Joan Osborne?
it felt like women empowerment in a different way than just being like mad.
Yeah,
Which is like the what like Alanis gives us a little bit of this like fuck you energy. And
yeah,
whereas like it's more sexual, I guess,
yeah.
empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the sexual freedom,
Yeah.
right? It's because Alanis, and I think we did talk about this with Joan Osborne because some of her songs are like sexy and in a way that's again because Alanis has very sexual songs, but they also have a lot of
Hmm.
anger behind them.
Hmm.
Like we didn't get a lot of love songs on Alanis's album, or we got like one maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, the freedom, her femininity or her feminism is kind of rooted in like fuck you, fuck the patriarchy. This feminism is rooted in I am my own person. I don't even think about the patriarchy. I have this sexual freedom. I have this independence of myself. There is some anger in
Hmm.
some of these songs as
Oh
well.
yeah.
We'll get to it, but not in like it was way more prevalent on the Alanis album.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So
Yeah. Nice. Well, what about the song Queer?
I like this song. I enjoy this song a lot. I think it's
Yeah.
an interesting like story song, which I don't
Yes.
feel like we get stories very often in, especially like a rock song or an alternative rock song or anything. But though, as you dive into the lyrics or you learn about how this song was written, and what story they're trying to tell, and like the only thing I could keep thinking about in my mind is that Jennifer Lawrence movie that came out within the last like 10 years. And I was like, yeah, that's what this movie is.
That's so
Or
funny.
because I mean, it basically is this, except with the father having sex with the woman that he's paying his son to, or paying for to have sex with his
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
So the this I think this is based on a novel, right? Like
Hmm.
this is based on a novel, and the story is a father who is, and there's not there may or may not be a question of sexuality. Like some people have interpreted it that way, some have not. They have kind of come out and said, like the band has come out and said, like, hey, if you interpret it that way, then yes, like cool that but the father is like worried that his son is gay and there's like or he has like he's not straight, so he decides to take him to a prostitute and be like, hey, have sex with this woman, it'll you know make you want to date women and get you out of your shell and not be gay. And the song is from the perspective of the sex worker, and it's very interesting. There's like this element of like it's not necessarily about sex, it's about a loss of innocence,
Hmm.
but it is also very sexual. Like you can interpret it either way.
Yeah, and like I thought immediately whenever I heard the song or saw the title, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a queer coded song." And whenever they're talking about the queerest of the queer, and this will probably be the podcast that says the word queer the most out of any podcast we've done, but it's like the weird, like queer is in
Yeah,
weird, is
as in
how I interpret it.
strange.
Yeah, or strange,
The
and then like
other.
yes. The strangest of the strange, the coldest of the cool, the lamest of the lame, the
Hmm.
numbest of the dumb. That's the chorus for this. So different in any
Hmm.
way is what this song is coming off as. And yes, yeah, I think you could interpret it as, the sun being not straight.
Yes, I think it did. I think it did resonate with like the queer community, and then that, and again, when they found out about it, they're like, "Sweet, awesome! Like we love that. We love like we embrace that community like 1000%." Like people, and I think Vig was like, "Yeah, people who can't get behind like LGBTQ rights are idiots." and but it's also it kind of reminded me too of not just like there were like I remember again growing up in like religious spaces there like this was something that happened at conversion camps
Mm,
like really deep conversion camps where they would just be like, hey, like here's a woman and she's naked and you have to stand in front of her and touch her, and like again she's being paid for this, she is consented to be there, but it's like, hey, the person who is at conversion therapy is not consented to the situation. So I kind of took a dark turn with it. Like it can be
yeah.
it is kind of interesting. Like again, this what a ridiculous and ludicrous idea that your dad is taking you to have sex with somebody. Like, I mean, I'm not a son. I don't know if that's a father-son situation that happens, but to me, I'm like, that's insane.
It, and this song in particular also gives me Criminal vibes, not Criminal as a Criminal by Fiona Apple, um,
Okay.
which is also kind of like a sexy song, performed by a maybe 17-year-old girl at that time. But
Hmm.
Fiona Apple's Criminal is a great song. You should listen to it.
Okay.
But that's what the vibes I was getting with it, especially musically. It kind of sounds similar. And I know I've
Hmm.
mentioned Fiona Apple on here too. I've paired her with somebody else that we've talked about, but she's great.
Yeah. Nice. Anything else on that one?
No.
What about Only Happy When It Rains?
So this is the song that I knew before coming into this album.
Okay.
I'm only happy when it rains. Yeah, this is the only song I knew, and I don't remember where I heard it more. I also felt like this is like a darker version of Ironic. Uh, like if Garbage might be the darker version of Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. Alanis is a good pairing.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, both with debut albums in 95, even if you go on Spotify, it has like related artists. Alanis comes up when you look up Garbage.
Yeah.
But I agree. This is also the one that I knew. I didn't know it, but I mean, I could not tell you where I know it from. I don't know if it's from a movie. I don't know if I just heard it on the radio, but I'm like, I've heard this song somewhere before. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's like, I'm only happy when it rains. Like, I'm all like they love the dark. It actually reminded me of you because
Damn.
you
No,
you love rain. You're like you love rain, do you not?
I do. And like all the things she's just saying all these things that are like, I only smile in the dark. I only feel good when things are going wrong. I only listen to sad songs. That's why I was like, oh, it's just like ironic. Like we're just saying things. We're just making statements now. But here's my statement is that I'm
Hmm.
sad and dark and lonely and I like it and leave me
Yeah,
alone.
I like it. Leave me alone. That's a good interpretation of it.
Yeah.
It is. But it's like it is an upbeat sound. Like I'm like it's one of my favorites on this album. Like it's a good, even though it's singing about being angry and sad all the time, and that's what makes you happy. It's very happy sounding.
Hmm.
There's not a lot to say about it though. It's a good song, but
Yeah, it is kind of just that. Like it's the pop. Like I feel like it's a popular song.
mhm,
It's not the most popular. "Stupid Girl" is the most popular song.
yeah,
But "Only Happy in the Rains" is the one I knew. So
yeah. I wonder where it's from. Like I wonder why we know that one and not Stupid Girl.
I'm sure it's in some movie or it's on some soundtrack or maybe a video game or something that is
Mhm.
why we know it more than any other song.
Probably. So I'm jumping the gun here but speaking of movies and soundtracks, my favorite question is the cast of Reality Bites listening to Garbage?
Yes. Definitely
100%.
definitely Janine Garofalo's character. She's absolutely listening to Garbage. This is probably her main band.
Yes.
That's the one that works at the Gap.
Yes.
She's definitely listening to this.
Yeah, I think they're all listening to it, honestly, because if
Yeah.
it's a debut in '95, and like I can see what's the guy, the shitty guy,
Ethan Hawke's character?
Ethan Hawke's character. I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
character's name. Like he'd be like, "Oh, it's grunge, but a girl sings it, and I'm cool because I listen to girl singers." Like that's
Mm.
the vibe.
But I could also see him being like, "Oh yeah, I knew about Shirley Manson when she was
Yeah.
when she was in this band, the
Yes.
band that she was it. I forget what their name is, but
I also I would see Ben Stiller's character, like Winona Ryder is showing Ben Stiller, hey, here's this cool band that I listen to, and
yeah,
he's listening to it, and he goes, I should get them on TV, and that's how they blow up. Like that's like he recognizes that it's good, but he would seek this out himself.
yeah, yeah. I could see the Ethan Hawke character being like, "I listen to Angel Fish. They're way better. They're edgier."
Angelfish,
That's the name of her band. I had to look it up.
the band that didn't do well and broke up
Mhm.
immediately.
And then she wrote a song about it and put it on this album.
Yep. Amazing. I loved Not My Idea too.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I really like the chorus.
Me too. It's like, this is not it's like
Yeah.
it's like this like yelling kind of, this is not my idea of a good time.
It's exact. I kind of thought of you when we were, like, if you're just in a place that you don't want to be, and I was like, this is Alyssa's theme song in her head. This is not my idea of a good time.
I've seen memes. Like this is a meme like a concept where it's like, are you having fun? No. Like it's like, no, I would rather not be here. Thank you so much. Or there's like, I am not having a good time. Oh, that's a meme. I'm straight up not having a good time. That is from a reality TV show. Someone says
Mhm.
that it's a meme. I gotta find it. I'll post it in the Discord.
This
I am
is
straight up.
not my idea of having a good time.
Yes, it is. It's like a yell and like you want to stomp a little bit. That is very funny that you were
Mhm.
like, this is Alyssa's song. And I was like,
This
that's
is
Cody's song.
Yeah. We are garbage.
I also, and I don't know if you listened to this in your headphones at all, but there's something really cool happening in the very beginning of the song with like coming at different angles. So, like with the percussion at the very beginning, it's like this ear, and then it almost sounds like it's behind you, which is
Mm.
like a cool effect. I think it drops out of both ears, but it's just very quiet. But it's like this ear, back. And it's like, and it pings like almost like a ping pong in your ears about like, so like listening to it in the car, or like I heard it just in the car and I was like, okay, this is good. And then I put it in my headphones. I was like, this is so much better.
I did that the other day with that song I showed you. I'll mention at the end of this as my recommended song. But that's how I felt about that song. It sounded so much better in my headphones than it did in the car when I played it for you.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of that on this album. There's a lot of like layers of there's like
Yeah.
there's
Layers like a
vocal
Jackson
layers.
Pollock.
Yeah, exactly like that. But like actual layers where there's like lyrics that are going on behind what you're
Yeah.
actually listening to. And you only get that if you're like listening to it in your headphones or like trying to, single it out and be like, oh yeah, that is happening. But yeah, there's a lot of that on this album. Because like
Yeah.
if you read through the lyrics, you're like, oh, this is background vocals or this is behind
Yeah.
this. This is so I thought that was really cool.
Yes, it's layered is a perfect way to describe this. As we're talking about this, I'm starting to like this album more.
Oh yeah, it's a good
Sometimes-
album.
Sometimes when we talk about albums, it makes me dislike it more or like it more. Like it
Mhm.
changes my opinion when I talk to somebody about it, which again, art is subjective. So that kind of makes sense that it's like when you start to bounce ideas off of people, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Did I, oh, the the only other thing I had about Not My Idea, there's like da da da's in this song, and it reminded me of the song Tom's Diner.
Mm.
Da, 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 da. Yes, it just kind of even I think it might have even been like the same similar notes. And I was like, oh, like I wonder if you could like mash these songs together and how
Ooh.
they would sound. Like I wish I could do stuff like that. I wish like people on the internet who can take one song and overlap them and make them sound like flow really well together.
Yeah, but that's what AI can do.
Ah, do it.
Do it, AI.
Do it, AI. Anything else though on Not My Idea?
I do not.
All right. What other ones did you have? I
Vow.
had Vow. I had Vow too. It didn't really like stick out to me as one, but it was like such a hit, like single that I decided I was like I gotta write something about it.
This is a song that I was like when I was listening to it, I was like, okay, I'm getting some sexual energy here. And
Oh,
then
this one.
I looked at the lyrics, I was like, this is not sexual energy. And I like now I
You're like,
backed away like Nick Miller. I was like, oh, my bad. I'll see my way out. But there was a lyric in the song where I was like, you crucified me, but I'm back in your bed. And like Jesus Christ coming
like
back from the
Jesus
dead.
Christ. Crucified me like Jesus Christ is a crazy lyric.
Yeah. And again, just like Alanis and just like Natalie Merchant, like a
Yeah.
lot of religious undertones in these out. Like this one has Joan of Arc,
Yeah,
Jesus
in the song
Christ. We
too.
talked about religion earlier. There's a lot of like religious undertones in these songs.
Yeah, someone else
Not
had religious oh, PJ Harvey.
PJ Harvey, that's the one.
That was I mean, Natalie Merchant had it too, but PJ Harvey was the most recent one.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no, this song is not about sex at all. It is about sex, but not the sex that she's having with this person. It's about this person having sex with somebody else and her going ham on that motherfucker. So
Yes. Well, it's like just a couple that's bad for each other. Like just two people that should not be together. They treat each other poorly. It sounds like they cheat on each other, maybe. Like she's the angry one. But I think it also goes both ways. Like they should not just be, they just shouldn't be together. And it's so interesting because like I like what's happening in the beginning with the guitar. But like this sounds like a pop song to me, but it's so intense. Like again, like it's that dichotomy of like this is the music and this is the lyrics, and I'm paying so much attention here that I'm kind of missing what's going on here. And this is like, oh, this sounds fun, and oh my god, this is very upsetting.
I came to cut you up. I came to knock you down.
Yeah,
I like it.
Murder. But yeah, I didn't really. I mean, it was fine. I liked it, but I was kind of like, it wasn't like drawn to it.
There apparently there's like a live version of this, and like there are different like verses that she sings to this song, and they're basically just other songs, like a Cole Porter song, and then there's one that's like gosh, what is this one? This comes from Marianne Faithfull. Song where it's like, because every time I see your dick, I see her cunt in my bed. Those are some of the lyrics from that song.
Excuse me?
Yeah. And then there's a bride, like she does like Bright Eyes with a lover I don't have to love in those ad libs. But yeah, she does Let's Fall in Love as one of like the ad libs that she does on this song as well. It's pretty interesting.
Amazing. I kind of like that. I like that. Like if you're listening to it live, you're getting a totally different experience. Wild.
Yeah.
That is, I'm so sorry. Cool. I'm just so floored by
there's like Patti Smith in there too. So I don't know. It's great.
Nice. What other songs do you have?
I think that might be it for me. I put Dog New Tricks as just another song about a bad partner. That's really
just
the only
another song.
Just another song.
Yes. There's a lot of like, yeah, again, this album is angry, but not in the way that Alanis Morissette's is angry. But I like it. What was your favorite song?
My favorite song is Queer.
Really?
Yeah. I re-
It's just the story behind it.
I like I said, it reminded me of that Fiona Apple song. I liked how down tempo it, or not like up tempo this song is, or not
Yeah.
like a driving rock song like Super Vixen kind of, or Only Happy When It Rains kind of feels that way. I don't know. I kind of like the like it has da 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 da's in it too, and it's just
Yeah,
kind
it
of
does.
slow and tells the
It,
story. And I like the perspective of it from the sex worker. And I
yeah.
don't know. I really like this song.
I kind of imagine like the strangest of the strange, like you're just like
Hmm.
doing this while you're singing it. Like it's like you probably took mushrooms and super psychedelic. Like that's that's like what's happening in like a
You want to
music
do
video
mushroom?
that doesn't exist. I do not want to do mushrooms. Thank you. Thank you, but no thank you.
You're welcome.
I liked Only Happy When It Rains and Not My Idea. Those were my
Okay.
two favorites. Those are the most like upbeat ones probably on the album. Which is funny that we kind of were drawn to the different vibes because like the slower ones I was kind of backed away from. But yeah, those were my two. I think maybe just Only Happy When It Rains probably stuck out to me because I already knew it, so that's maybe a little bit of a gimme. But
Yeah.
I
I think
liked
that's
it.
probably why I didn't say it. It was just because I was like, I already know that song and like that song, so I'm gonna try and pick something different.
Fair. What about your least favorite?
Yeah, okay, so this is where it gets interesting because I put "As Heaven Is Wide" as my least favorite song,
Yeah, but it
just
has your
because of the
favorite
way it
lyrics.
sounds. But it has my favorite lyrics, and I really like the lyrics.
Give me the
And
lyrics.
this is the song that I knew before this album because it was on the Gran Turismo soundtrack, a video game
Okay.
on the PS1. It was kind of one of those first games that had like an actually decent soundtrack on it, and that's how I remember Garbage as being on Gran Turismo and Gran Turismo 2.
Okay.
But I knew this song, but yeah, I didn't like the I'm not
Yeah,
that
you're
guy.
not.
I'm not that guy. The lyrics
Should
though,
shall we bring back Goldie?
yeah, let's bring back Goldie. I loved Goldie. No, these lyrics, if holy is as holy does, this house will burn straight down to hell and take its conscience with it as it falls. Nothing said could change the fact. My trust was blind. You broke the pact. If God's my witness, God must be blind.
Wow. There's a lot of burning lyrics
Oh
in
yeah.
this album, like in multiple songs.
I
Like
was only going to have if God's my witness, God must be blind. And then I read the whole chorus or the whole verse. I was like, holy God, that's good. That's some
yeah,
good stuff there. So
that's some good shit.
she on that good shit.
Okay, I think that I mean it is interesting that you're again. I think that happened to me one time that my least favorite song have also had my favorite lyrics in it, but
Hmm.
I dig it. I put Milk.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
love Milk.
I think even more so because it was a hit. Like it was a single, and I was like, how? I just it's
It was boring to me.
yeah, it's the last song on the album. It is not strong like a lot of the other ones are, and yeah, it's boring. It's like it's about a woman who misses her man. It's like, and they kind of called it like a siren song, like she's calling to him or singing to him to come back because she misses him. Like, I don't know if he left or they're just like literally physically separated, but I'm like, okay.
It kind of felt like a who was the girl we did a few weeks ago? Um
Bjork.
Icelandic. Bjork. It kind of felt like a Bjork song a little bit. And I wonder like if Bjork sings it, do I like it more? Because she has
Maybe.
like she has that different kind of vocal style. And I was like, this sounds like a Bjork song that Bjork would do better. So
You know,
Bjork
I
cover,
like that.
yeah.
Let's get her in here.
Let's get her in here.
Um, my favorite lyrics are not from Milk. Milk is still my least favorite song, but my favorite lyrics are from Not My Idea. And again, it's another burning lyric. So again, but on the theme. And it's you thought I was a little girl, you thought I was a little mouse, you thought you'd take me by surprise. Now I'm here burning down your house.
No, that's the thing about this song. This is the song that she wrote, Shirley Manson wrote about her former band.
Oh, okay. This is the one.
Yes, this is the one where, because if you read the lyrics, it's just like, yeah, you promised me that it was be this thing, and it's not.
Yeah.
And now look at me now, motherfucker. And
Yes.
middle fingers to the old band.
Yeah. It's like you thought I was a little mouse and now I'm burning down your house. It's like that meme of the little girl who's like, and there's like the entire house is on fire
Oh
behind her. And she's like,
yeah. Good meme. Good meme pull.
great meme. Who are your pairings? Because I got a couple.
I pair this with Hole, which is Courtney Love's band, alt band, grunge band at this time. And then Veruca Salt, which is another alternative band. Volcano Girls is probably a song that most people know from Veruca Salt. That's who those are the two that I would go with.
Okay, I like those. Hole's a great one too. I put Elastica. We're gonna listen to Elastica later in the year. They also debuted in '95 in Britpop, in the Britpop space. But it's also a girl band or girl lead singer. So that was my first thought. I also had No Doubt. Again, we're gonna listen to I was thinking of like '95 albums. Like we're gonna listen to No Doubt in a couple weeks, months. But lead girl singer with guys in the rest of the band. I mentioned the Pink song earlier, and I also have I said this earlier to Cody. I said I feel like Lindsay Lohan's character in the Freaky Friday movie would love Garbage. So I did put Pink Slip, which is Lindsay Lohan's band.
That's great.
In Freaky Friday. I'm like, they would love Garbage. So yeah, that's my that's my pairing. It's dumb, but I liked it. Would you recommend this to a friend?
Yes. I think I would.
Which friend?
Angry friend.
Angry friend. Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't know. This one's tough. This one's a tough one.
It was kind of like again, like attributing. If this was in a museum, I would take a picture of it, and like now it's in my phone forever. But is it the picture that I show somebody from when I go to the museum?
Yeah.
I liked it, but I don't know who I would recommend it to.
Yeah, that's where I'm struggling, is trying to figure out who I would recommend this to if I did recommend it to somebody. Like a harder Fiona Apple. That's if you're into a harder Fiona Apple, this is what I would say.
I think too, like I'm not a grunge fan, and I wouldn't consider this grunge.
No, it's not as grunge as I thought it was going to be.
No, but it's grungy. It's like crunchy a little bit. Like if someone, like I would recommend it to me, maybe if someone was like, I really don't like grunge music, but I want something a little bit lighter. Like I want to try grunge. Like maybe this is like dipping my toe barely into the space again because of Butch Vig producing the Nirvana album. Like just kind of like baby toe into this, and then maybe if you like this, then maybe you take the next step. Then you take the next step. But yeah, I don't have anybody to recommend this to.
Yeah.
What's your 5-star rating?
I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it.
Okay. I gave it 3, but as we're talking here, I think I want to give it a 3.25.
Okay. You're all about those quarter ones. I need to be better about giving those quarter ones. I'm not on a strict 5-star scale like my Letterboxd is.
Well, I am on, like, I have my rankings listed in order, and maybe this isn't what I should do, but I look and I see what I rated a 3, and I see what I rated a 3.5, and I rated, so like what I like Waiting to Exhale was a 3.5, How to Succeed was a 3.5, Relish was a 3.5, and I'm like, I don't think it's up there for me for 3.5, but I also rated like Tiger Lily a 3. And I'm like, I like this better than Tiger Lily, but less than.
Yeah, I think I like this better than Tiger Lily. I need to go back. We've talked about that. I need to go back and redo my rankings and put them out there so that I can keep track of them like you.
Yeah, and I need to update mine for sure. Because compares. I don't think I have them like maybe the last month when they're.
Parrot. Which one? Clash at Demon Head?
We are Sex Bombs.
Or Sex Bombs. Or maybe what's his face in the boy Crash and the Boys.
Crash and the Boys. I love it.
Oh, but we did get a recommendation in the Discord.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, based on this, I don't know if they're necessarily the like it got a rec after listening to Garbage from Sir Garlet here, but it was Expert in a Dying Field was the name of the album by The Beths, the band The Beths. I listened to a little bit of it. I liked it.
Oh, okay. And that's put it on the list then. We can talk about, I could give my review next week.
Nice.
The Beths. That's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Is it another lady band?
I think so.
Love a lady band.
Very Aussie. There you go.
Fantastic. I'm in. So sad.
Sad.
Scott Pilgrim's such a good movie.
For real.
And we can talk about it here because it's a music movie.
That's right.
That's right. Anything else, my friend?
Recommendations. I guess I can move on to that if.
Oh, yes. Well, I said I was going to thank you for being here. And what are your recommendations? What have you listened to lately?
So there's a song that I listen to because sometimes late at night, I put my headphones in as I'm going to sleep, my little earbuds, and I usually just put on a podcast and fall asleep to that. Let my 3-hour podcast just guide me into slumber. But sometimes I'm like, I don't really want to commit to that right now. So I'll just put on a playlist from Spotify, maybe a day list or something. And the other day, and occasionally this is what happens. I'll wake up from my slumber and I'll be in the middle of a song and I'm like, oh my God, this song is like life changing. And then I'll like it and copy that song over. But this song, again, I listened to with headphones on and I think it is better than when we listened to it in the car, even though you did like it in the car.
I did like it.
It's called Shoulder Song by Victor Jones. I really liked it. So that's what I'm recommending.
Very good. Any others?
That's it.
The other song we listened to, who did the When It's Over cover?
When It's Over. I don't know. You put it in.
I did add it. But it's that guy that you've listened to before.
Oh, it's gosh, what is it? Slim Dan.
Slim Dan. That was one of my recommendations. Is the When It's Over cover by Slim Dan. I thought that was really good. I've also been listening to a lot of Blink. Like 182 just from last week. I was like, they're so good, and I just was just listening to.
What version of Blink have you been listening to?
Their self-titled album with Miss You, and
okay.
Yeah. I was just like, I just want to listen to them. So I've been listening to Blink. I had one other. Oh, I did say I would do homework and that I would go and listen to the John Bellion album, Father Figure. I did not like it. That was what I anticipated would happen, and it did happen, and I am very sad about it. I think it is an album that he needed to put out, that he was like in his artistry, in his journey, in his life, needed to put that album out, and it resonates with him. And it's going to resonate with somebody, but it's very much about fatherhood, and also dealing with fame and money, and how does that balance with being a good dad, which is an interesting concept. And it's just not a concept that I heavily relate to. I feel like if you are someone who likes Chance the Rapper, current Chance the Rapper, you will like this album. That's my pairing. If you like Chance the Rapper 2025 version, maybe 2023 version, you will like Father Figure by John Bellion. I don't like either of them.
Not for me.
It's a totally different sound than what he's ever done before. So it's like listening to a completely different artist. But
bummer.
Yeah. That's okay.
So
we did
sad.
it. So sad. If you want to be so sad with us, I love my transitions. You can get more information about the podcast, the 52verse, any and all things through the Discord server. We mentioned it earlier. We're chatting it up in there. We're giving recommendations. We want to hear from you. So feel free to join. You're also free to follow us on Instagram. That's where we post updates and which albums are coming out and what date we're going to be talking about them. Next week, speaking about upcoming pods that we're going to be doing, we'll be covering Ben Folds 5. And it's also a self-titled debut album. So Ben Folds 5 by Ben Folds 5 is next week's album. So we hope to see you there. It will happen next Tuesday at our regular time. As hey, we're back on track. But that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you had a great night, and we'll see you next time on 52/1995 Music.
Peace.